The concept of heritage can be a very subjective, personal thing, and it need not be based on where a person's grandparents came from at all. Almost everyone in America celebrates St. Patrick's Day, and many, if not most, of those celebrating the hardest don't have a drop of Irish blood in their veins. Before March 17, 1987, I never paid much attention to St. Patrick's Day, but then my oldest daughter, Leah Corinne Shader, was born on this date. And I felt like I had suddenly acquired something you might call backwards dated heritage. On many St. Patty's Day hence, I've enjoyed confusing people by wearing a homemade shamrock stating, "I'm Irish, on my daughter's side." Of course, every parent knows the arrival of your firstborn child is a transformative, even mystical experience, and I hope the song at the end of this slideshow will convey that to some small degree. But I also hope you'll be patient enough for the following explanation of why this song had to be written. Let's start by fast-forwarding from this date, March 17, 1987, the day Leah was born, to this date, March 15, 1996, 2 days before Leah's 9th birthday. Here's what Leah looked like back then. Anyway, Leah had an awesome 3rd grade teacher that year, Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown celebrated students' birthdays throughout their birthday week by having the other kids write things and or draw pictures about what they liked about the birthday boy or girl. And she sent a note home to the parents, inviting them to write something too. Naturally, Leah expected me to write something, and of course I intended to. But Friday came, and I had not written anything yet. I figured I had 2 more days. After all, Leah's birthday was on Sunday, and she could bring it to school on Monday. But no, when I told Leah I would write something in time for her birthday, as I was driving Justin, her brother, and her to school, she became very upset, and she was still crying when I dropped them off. Just as soon as I got back home, Kathy, Leah's mom, of course, said, "Leah forgot her gym shoes," so I drove back to the school right away to bring them to her. The office secretary told me I could take them directly to Mrs. Brown's classroom, and when I arrived at the door, I saw all the other little girls circled around Leah's desk, because Leah was still bawling her eyes out. Of course, they just wanted to know what was wrong, but all Leah could say right then was, "My father, my father." At that point, my presence became known, and all the little girls turned around to glare accusingly at Leah's father. Framed in the classroom doorway, holding Leah's gym shoes. I knew at that moment I would have to write something really good that weekend, and that I was about to beg Mrs. Brown to read it to Leah's class on Monday morning. So, that's why this song was written. And I'm glad to say that Mrs. Brown did read it to the class that following Monday, and she, at least, said she was impressed with it. I never received any critical praise from the little girls who were surrounding Leah's desk the previous Friday morning, however. Several years after this song was composed, I used it in my 12th grade English honors class to teach some literary concepts. Illuminated manuscript was one of those concepts. Here's a definition. Illuminated manuscript, handwritten book that has been decorated with gold or silver, brilliant colors, or elaborate designs or miniature pictures. Here's one example from long ago. And here's a more modern example. I found that some students in this class were talented artists because they took advantage of the extra credit opportunity to create illuminated manuscript illustrations for this song. My wife and I cherish these pictures to this day. So I'm displaying some of them along with the lyrics of On My Daughter's Side, a love song to my daughter, Leah Corinne Shader. My heart turned shamrock green March 17 in 1987. Echoing from that year, I still hear Leah's first cries fresh from heaven. Oh, I had never seen an angel's sheen on features mine resembling, nor ever held so near a girl so dear and full of sublime trembling. Some of spring's first flowers reveal themselves full blown, so too were Leah's powers, bursting forth and shone, like an instant verdant garden, scarlet bloom and sinew vine, roots that soon would harden to a will that equals mine. I felt I'd sip some magic flask that cast a spell of fond perception. Kinship shone from all nature's mask via signs of Gaelic bred conception. Throughout the town of Leah's birth, so brilliant green were winter lawns, and on all creatures gleamed the mirth and features of spry leprechauns. From that first morning to this day, no part of Leah seems a weed, except, needless to say, the heart-rending, breathless speed at which she grows with graceful splendor. Often how her seasons change, cultivating blossoms tender, razor thorns, wild flowers strange. With hybrid vigor overgrowing foliage blazes her display, and still there's four-leaf clover flowing back to Leah's vivid day of suddenly revealed creation. I have cause to join with pride the Emerald Isle's celebration. I'm Irish on my daughter's side. I join its celebration, being Irish on my daughter's side.